Good day students and welcome to Module 3 Part 1 video discussion for pre-calculus. So the topic for this module is all about ellipses. So for the first two modules, I have discussed the first two kinds of conic sections, which are the circles and the parabola. So let's have a quick recap. So about the general equation of the circle, so we have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And h and k here are your coordinates for your center. Alright, so that is denoted by the variable c for center. So this is the h is the x coordinate of your center and k is your y coordinate of your center, and r here is the radius. Okay, for parabola there are four general formulas of parabola. So if the parabola is facing upward, so the general formula is x minus h squared minus equal to 4c times y minus k. And again, h and k here are your coordinates of your vertex, no? Vertex naman sa parabola, dili center. And c here is the distance from, so kayo na c, that is the distance from your uh, vertex to your line or your directrix, no? So kani siya nga distance, that is your c. And for your parabola facing downward naman, you have x minus h squared is equal to negative 4c times y minus k. So ang kalainan nila is naka-negative naman siya if it is facing downward. So if it is facing upward, so it is positive 4c. If your parabola naman is facing to your right, then the formula will be y minus k squared is equal to 4c times x minus h. And if it is facing to your left side, then the formula will be y minus k squared is equal to negative 4c times x minus h. So ang naitabo dari is nag-interchange lang atong x sa ato ang y, no? So instead of writing x minus h, dari na mo siyang y minus k. So nag-interchange lang siya. Okay? So now let us learn another kind of the conic section, which is the ellipse. So what is an ellipse? So ellipse is one of the conic sections that most of you may have not encountered formally before, unlike the circles and parabola. So maybe some of you are not familiar about ellipses. So its shape is a bounded curve which looks like a flattened circle. So kung naka-circle, no, then mo na siya ipa-flat gamay, so it will produce something like this one, no? Tingnan ni ang forma sa ellipse, and it is a bounded curve, meaning closed siya nga curve. Unlike sa parabola nga unbounded siya, no? So naka-open siya. So the orbits of the planets in our solar system around the sun happen to be elliptical in shape, no? So kung natay sandari sa to nga ang orbit daw, kung sige ng orbit, that is the kung kani ang sun, kung siya ang sun, mana niya atong planet, no? Ang iyang orbit daw sa iyang pag-revolve around the sun kay that is in elliptical shape, no? Orbit is the katong iyang axis nga iyang gikuanan, no, gisundan niya. And also, just like the parabolas, ellipses have reflective properties that have been used in the construction of certain structures, and this will be shown in the practice problems. And also, we will see some properties and applications of ellipses for this module. So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to define what an ellipse is. You are going to determine the standard form of equation of an ellipse and graph an ellipse in a rectangular coordinate system, And lastly, to solve situational problems involving conic sections, uh, most particularly using the application sa ato ang ellipse. And as always, at the end of this will be there will be a sheet work and assignment that will be given. Okay, let me erase this first. Okay, so let us start with the formal discussion. So part 1 will be about the definition and the standard equation of an ellipse. So consider the points F1 located at negative 3, 0 and F2 located at positive 3, 0. So which is shown in the figure below. And we are asked to find the distance between the point A. So ang point A, it is located at positive 4 and positive 2.4. So si X daw kay located siya ni 4, then si Y nga coordinate located siya ni 2.4. So pangitaon na nato ang distance ni A padulong ni F1 and ni A padulong ni F2, no? Sum of the distances, meaning ang distance niya ni AF1 ug ni AF2 kay atong i-add. Okay? And also with point B and point C. So here's the figure. So we have, I'm sorry, there is this muna. So we have first point na to is point A, which is located at positive 4 and 2.4. So positive 4 nga X, so mag-count na ta from the origin. So this is 1, 2, 3, positive 4 nga X. Then we have positive 2.4 nga Y. So this is 1, 2. So pasaka ang positive ha, then panaog ang negative sa Y. 2, dayon something kung tunga-tunga is 2.5, then ubos gamay sa 2.5 will be your 2.4, no? So dari nakalocate ang ato ang point A. Then ang atong point F1 is located at negative 3, 0 daw. So that is negative 3 nga X, so negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So nadari si F1. Then si F2 is located at positive 3. So that is positive 1, 2, 3, then 0 nga Y. So na siya located dari. So unsa gipangita, ang distance daw ni A padulong ani ni F1 plus distance ni A padulong ni F2. So unsa daw iyang distance? So recall the distance formula. So itong distance formula. Distance formula is D is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1, 1. Sorry. X sub 1 plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1, na squared. Okay. X sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So that is the distance formula. So for the distance daw ni A padulong ni F1, no? So unsa ganitong coordinate ni A? That is 4 and 2.4. Then si F1 kay negative 3 and 0. So again, let us assign kung aha dapit si X1, aha dapit si X2, aha dapit si Y1 ug si Y2. Okay? So let us assume nga kani siya si A, mo ni siya ang ato ang X sub 2. Then si F kay mo ni siya ang atong X sub 1. So syempre ang pares niya nga coordinate kay Y sub 1. And dari naman ang pares niya is Y sub 2. So 4 and 2.4 are your X sub 2 and Y sub 2. Negative 3 and 0 are your X sub 1 and Y sub 1. So next is we are going to plug in the values na dayon anin nila. No? So X sub 2. So X sub 2 here is 4 minus X sub 1. X sub 1 is negative 3. So that is negative 3 squared plus Y sub 2 naman, that is 2.4 minus 2.4 minus Y sub 1 is 0, Okay. Okay. So 4 minus negative 3. So may mo ni siyang plus, no? Kung magtapad si negative ug si minus sign, may mo na siyang plus. So may siyang 4 plus 3. So 4 plus 3 is 7. And 7 squared is 49. So natay 49 plus 2.4 minus 0. So that is still 2.4. Then 2.4 squared is equal to 5.76. Okay, so we write 5.76. So you add 5.76 and 49. So plus 49, that is equal to 54.76. Okay, so the square root ni 54.76 CAF1. So since naman ni square root, so ato siyang square root ni 54.76, the answer there is 7.4. So the answer here is 7.4. So this is the distance sa imong AF1. So 7.4. How about the distance sa imong F2? No, atong F2 kay located at positive 3, 0. But the same ra nga atong A nga 4 o 2.4. So using the same formula, so AF2 na ni siya nga distance, equal siya ni x sub 2 is still equal to 4, minus na to siya ni x sub 1. So muna ni atong x sub 1, no? X sub 1 and muna atong y sub 1. So minusan siya nato ni 3 squared plus 2.4 na pod minus 0 squared. So ang kalainan nila is kaninga part, no? Instead of may mo siyang plus aning dari sa pikas, so minus na siya. So 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 squared is still equal to 1. So natay 1 plus, kung sa ganit ni siya, so nasolve na nato na ganihan, no? 2.4 minus 0, that is 5.76. 2.4 minus 0 squared, so 5.76. So 1 plus 5.76 is 6.76. So you take the square root of 6.76, so that is equal to 2.6. No, so nakaani nga answer. So if you're going to add that, no, kay sum of the distances man daw nila. So that is 7.4 plus 2.6. So 7.4 plus 2.6 is equal to 10. So similarly, so the same lang nga process atong buhaton in finding the distance ni B and ni C, no? So you try this. So ang atong nakuha dira is 3.8 plus 6.2, that is still equal to 10. Then sa C naman is we have 5 plus 5, so we have 10. So hadapit si C, so si C kay na siya dari sa ubos, no? So yung coordinate kay negative 0 nga x, then negative 4 nga y. Dayon si B located siya dari, so yung coordinate kay negative 2 nga x, o ang yang y kay naa sa mga 4.7 ay 3.7 rather, wala siya nabot man dari sa 4, 3.7. So iyang sum sa distances niya ni C kay kani padulong dari sa taas ug kani i-add na nimo. So pag i-add na nimong duha ka distances padulong ni F1 ug ni F2, iyang result kay 10. Pag i-add na po nato ni si B padulong dari si B padulong po ni F2, ang iyang result kay 10. So the same sila nga distance ang makuha. So there are other points P such that PF1, meaning the distance from that certain point padulong ni F1 plus distance na po ato ni point padulong ni F2 is equal to 10. So pares pa sila nga 10. And the collection of all such point forms a shape called an ellipse. So mo din na siya ang pag-form ni ellipse. So for example, magkuha ko dari sa taas na pod, no, ang coordinate ani sa taas kay 0 nga x, then si y kay 4, no? So kung pahitawon ako ang distance ani nila, no, distance ani niya padulong ni F1, then kani nga distance padulong ni F2. no, ang result ana is still equal to 10. So those other points here kani kung magkuha na pud ka dira sa mga points ana, if they still have the same answer nga equal ni 10, then they will form an ellipse. So mo na siya ang forma sa ellipse, flattened nga circle. So let F1 and F2 be two distinct points. So natay duha ka points, F1 and F2, and the set of all points P whose distances from F1 and from F2 add up to a certain constant, which is called an ellipse. No? So kung i-add down nimo ang distance no sa atong point kaning P F1 plus P F2 mo equal siya sa certain distance. For example, we have 2a, then we can form an ellipse. And the points F1 and F2 are called the foci of the ellipse. No? So F sa singular pa, that is focus. No? Then duha man sila kabuok. So ang plural sa focus kay foci. Okay? So murag cactus o cacti kung dagan cacti. Okay, so given are 2 points on the axis F1, which is located at negative C0, and F2 at positive C0, the foci both C units away from the center 0, 0. So that is seen in this figure. So nakayani nga figure, naka-ellipse no, then natay foci, duha ka focus no nga located at negative C and positive C 0 nga coordinate, meaning atong kaning C it can be any number no, pwede negative 2. So kung negative 2, so meaning atong C kay 2, automatic na sa pika side our value here is positive 2. Okay, so 2 0. So naglet lang ta C, so any number, so constant no. So that is C distance away from the center. So kani ato ang center no, 0 0, this is C nga distance no. The same po ani, C po ni siya nga distance because this is your distance from sa imong x no nga count. So this is your x coordinate. So mo na siya nga distance. So the same na sila nga distance. And we let P xy no, ang coordinate ni P kay x og y. X og y. Wala siya numbers. No, be a point in the ellipse no. So naa siya sa kaning ellipse. So let the common sum of the distances be equal to 2a no. So ang distance daw nila kay equal siya ni 2a. So the coefficient kung matingala mo amo nagikan si 2 sir. So the coefficient 2 will make the computation simpler. So we have, okay, first, so naatay sa ganito, naatay formula nga distance sa duha ka kuano ka points no, gikan ni point padulong ni F1 kani point ani niya padulong daw ni F1 ug si point padulong ni F2. Kung i-add na nato kay natay equal nga 2a. Okay, so what we are going to do here is we are going to derive the standard equation of the ellipse. So the same ra nga process nga atong gibuhat atong sa circle o sa parabola no. So para makita nato kung aha nagikan nga formula, dili lang kay magamit-gamit tag formula niya, wala ta kabalo kung aha na siya gikan no. So we have this no, distance ni PF1 plus PF2 is equal to 2a. Then first thing is we are going to transpose PF1 to the other side of the equation no. So sa ganito basta mulabay siya sa equal nga sign. So from positive may mo siyang negative no. Kung negative mo labay siya sa equal sign may mo siyang positive. So mura siya gingana pag transpose nimo sa kilid. So gitransfer na to sa PF2 sa pika side sa atong equation. So from positive na mo na siyang negative. Okay, so natay 2a minus PF2. Next is atong gamit tong distance formula. So remember, distance formula, d is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So balik-balik ko na ko nigsulat para madumduman. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared, no? So x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So from the figure, ang ato ang x sub 2 ug x sub 1 ani. So i-assign ra pud nato na. So depende sa inyo ha. Pwede kaning si, 'di ba, ang coordinate niya kay x ug y, no? So pwede kani atong x sub 1, kani atong x sub 2, pwede pud kani atong x sub 1, kani atong x sub 2. Basta kay pares ilahang mga kuano kaning number dari sa iyahang tapat. So for example, this is our x sub 2, this should be our y sub 2, no? So dari naman, if this is our x sub 1, so ang tapat niya kay y sub 1. 1 day. Okay, kanino? Meaning, sa x sub 1 equal siya ni negative c, y sub 1 equal siya ni 0. Si x sub 2 equal siya ni x, y sub 2 equal siya ni y. So, ato siyang next kay atong substitute. X sub 2, so x sub 2 is x, so natay x, minus x sub 1. X sub 1 is negative c, no? So that's why we have negative c, dayon squared, plus y sub 2 is equal to y minus y sub 1 is equal to 0 squared. So mo nang mahitabo square root ni x, negative ug kwan man ni minus, so may mo siyang plus. So that's why we have x plus c na dayon squared, plus y minus 0 is equal to y, then natay squared, so mo nang may mo siyang y squared. So mo ni siyang nahitabo ani niya. Okay, so mo nang may mo na siyang x plus c squared plus y squared. So equal to 2a minus si pf2 naman, so instead of using the si f2, no, kay c ug 0 siya, instead of using negative c, may mo na siyang positive c. So may tabuan ni is instead of plus dare, may mo ni siyang minus. So mo nang natay square root of x minus c squared plus y squared. Okay, after that is we take square sa both sides atong equation. So sir, ngano nag-square man ta ana both sides atong equation, sa left ug sa right side sa atong equation? So unsa ganina? Para mawala ang atong square root sign. So puntahay na kay square root of 2. Then gusto ka nga tanggalon ni si square root of 2, no, kay dili man ta ganahan ana nga symbol, no, kay murag kung makakita na gitag square root na gani nga mga number, complicated na kay siya para sa ato, ano, kay dili ta makasolve ana nga mano-mano, no, kay nana siya certain nga step para makuha nimo kung unsay equal ning square root of 2. So magamit tag calculator ana. So to get rid of the symbol square root, ato lang siyang i-square, no? Pag i-square nato ni ma-cancel ni si square root na sign. So ang mabilin na lang kay 2. So similarly, ani para mag-get rid nato ni matanggal nato ni si square root na sign, atong i-square atong left side o right side nga equation. Ngano kailangan man duha, sir? Para ang atong equation kay balance lang gihapon, no? Balance ang sa left ug sa right, wala tay gi-usab sa iya ha. So if we take the squared sa atong square root, so ma-cancel ni siya. Ang mabilin na lang kay x plus c squared plus y squared. So ngano na himo man siya gingani kay gi-expand ni siya nga expression. So recall na pud ta unsaon pag-expand. So ato sa ning erase. Okay, saan nga ito pag-expand? So, kung nakay duha ka terms, nakay x plus c squared, no? So, first step is you square the first term. So, that is x squared. Next is you, since plus man siya, so mag-plus ta, then i-multiply na to si c ug si x, then multiply pa dyan na to 2. So, constant na ni si 2, then multiply na to si c ug si x. So, nakay c x. Then lastly is to square the last term, c squared. So dali ra kayo, no? Square the first term, multiply the first term by the last term, then multiply by 2, then you're going to square the last term. So mo na ni siya nga part. Okay, natay x squared plus 2cx plus c squared. Next is to copy y squared. Okay, then matanggal na si square root na sign. So mo nang ingana na siya nitabo. Dari naman, so we treat this as our first term, then this will be our second term, no? So kung kani atong first term kay x, then kani atong second term, so the same ra po na nahitabo, no? Pag atohan ni siyang i-square, no? Gi-square nato siya para matanggal ang square root na sign. So again, square the first term. So what is the square of 2a? No? Kung nakay 2a squared, so ato lang nang i-distribute si square nga sign. So natay 2 squared, then natay a squared. So that is equal to 4a squared. So natay 4a squared dari. Next is multiply the first term by the second term, then multiply it by 2. So i-multiply lang ni siya ani, so mahitabo is 2a times square root of kani siya nga term. Then you multiply it by 2. So that's why na natay instead of 2a may mo siyang 4a. So natay negative 4a times the square root plus square the last term. So sa ganito may tabo, pag square ni mo ang square root nga na square root nga sign, so ma-cancel out ni si square root nga sign, then gi-expand lang dayon ni. So pag expand niya, may mo ni siyang kani siya x squared minus 2cx plus c squared. So negative lang siya diri, no? So kani kay positive, kay negative man ni siya. Plus y, kani plus y. After that, so ako nang i-reason ang mga badlis. Okay. So after that, ato na din i-combine ang similar nga terms, no? So atong ipang-cancel tong pwede mak-cancel. So unsa man ang mga terms? So kaning x squared, no? So si x squared na amo pud siya sa pikas, no? Pwede x squared dali. So pwede rin siya mak-cancel. Ngano mak-cancel man siya, sir? Kay kung ibalin ako ni si x squared sa pikas side sa atong equation, so nitabok siya aning equal nga sign. So from positive x squared, may mo siyang negative x squared. No? So natay x squared minus x squared na. So x squared minus x squared is equal to 0. No? So kani naman si c squared, no? Naputay c squared sa pikas, then naputay positive nga y squared. So mga tanggal na sila. How about this one? 2cx o negative 2cx. So, makancel sila or dili? So, the answer is dili. Nga naman, they don't have the same nga sign. So, plus ni siya, kani siya kay minus. So, if you're going to transfer this 2cx, positive 2cx, sa left side or sa right side sa itong equation, may mo siyang negative 2cx. And negative 2cx minus 2cx is equal to negative 4cx. No? So kung i-treat ra nimo siya wala kani kay wala ra pod, so mayroon siya negative 2 minus 2, no? So negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. That's why we have negative 4cx nga answer dari, no? Then mawala na ni siya kay gibalin man sa pikas. So since 4 is common sa atong mga terms, no? Si 4 naa dari. Naa siya dari. So pwede nato i-reduce ni siya. Tanggalan nato ni si 4. So, mabili na lang kay a squared minus a times kaning square root minus cx. So, what we did here is gi-transfer ni siya kaning part, no? Dari sa pikas side sa tong equation. Then, gi-retain nato si a squared og si cx. So, that's why we have this ato ang side sa equation, ang nabilin. After that, since napuman dyan punta yung square root na sign dari, so atong buhaton is mag-square na pud ta. No? Ato na pong square ang both sides sa atong equation. So kani square, kani siya square. Murag nga na. Square ni siya. So distribute lang kay multiplication naman eh. Kani og kani multiplication. So distribute lang, so natay a squared, then kani siya gi-expanding sa sulod, then ma-cancel out si square root na sign. So that's why we have this na dayon sa sulod. That is equal to kani siya mura siya kaning method, no? Square the first term, so a squared raised to the power of 2, that is equal to a to the power 4 minus multiply lang ning duha times 2, so that is negative 2a squared times cx, then square the last term, so that is equal to positive c squared x squared, no? After that, kay kani siya ato ni siyang distribute, no? Kay multiplication man na. So, i-distribute na to na siya every term. Okay? So, mangita ta kung naa ba siya pwede makancel. So, amay pwede makancel kani nga part, no? So, this will become negative 2a squared cx. So, namatay negative 2a squared cx dari. So, makancel out ra na siya. Dayon, the rest will be retained, no? Mabilin na rin siya. So, mabilin dari kay a to the power 4 minus AC ay a squared c squared. Ama na gikan na siya dari. Natay a squared c squared. So, gibalhin siya sa pika side. Dayon kani, gibalhin na pod siya dito sa dari nga side. So, that's why we have c squared times x squared dari. So, gi-factor out lang nato ni si x. Kaya naman po tayo a squared x squared dari. So, tatay a squared minus c squared times x squared. So, kung multiply nini mo balik, so, imong result kay kani. Kung multiply po din mo, imong result kay kani. Then, naatay a squared y squared. No? Gikan ani. Kani, multiply ni silang doha kay distribute man na. So, we have this one. After that, we can factor out a squared ani nga term. No? Since common man si a squared ani nga term. So, manang we have a squared times a squared minus c squared. So, when you multiply this one, a squared times a squared, may mo siyang a to the power 4. A squared times negative c squared, may mo siyang negative a squared c squared. No? So, kung ibalik lang nimo. So, gi-factor out na to si a squared. So, natay a squared minus c squared. So, sir, ganun gi-factor out mo na nimo. Kaya sa pika side sa itong equation, namagudpod tay a squared minus c squared. No? Namagpuntaan ni dere. So, namagpuntaan na dera. So, since nataan na nga common nga term, we are going to let that term be equal to letter b, no, nga variable. So, let b equal to the square root of a squared minus c squared. So, or that is equal to b squared is equal to a squared minus c squared. No? You take square ani niya, so mao siya ang result. Nanatay b. No? So, we can denote this one by b. So, mo nang gilisda nato. From here, no, na mo siyang a squared, b squared. Then, from here, may mo na siyang b squared times x squared. Then, copy the rest. After that, we divide all of the equation by a squared, b squared. So, divide siya ni a squared, b squared, kani a squared, b squared. So, when dividing gani, basta common siya sa taas, sa numerator ug denominator, makancel. So, mabilin kay x squared over a squared. So, manatay x squared over a squared. Dari, makancel naman si a. So, natay y squared over b squared. Then, dari, makancel tanan. So, may mo na siyang 1. So, this will be the standard equation of the ellipse. Okay? So, ganiha, gi-recap na to ang mga standard equation ni circle og ni parabola. So, this time, this will be the standard equation sa ellipse. And remember that b here is equal to the square root of a squared minus c squared. And that is, we assume that a is greater than ni c. No? Si a, always na siya greater than ni c. And a is also greater than ni b. Mas dako si a compare ni b. So, always may nung dominant niya. So, again, so this is the standard equation sa to ang ellipse. That is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. And a is greater than b. Then c is equal to the square root ni a squared minus b squared. No, kay dili man ta pwede nga kung mas dako si b compare ni a, kung minus na nimo na negative na siya, and we cannot take the square root of a negative number. No? So, mo nang always positive dapat atong answer. So, meaning, mas dako dapat atong value ni a compare ni b. So, natay a greater than b. Okay? So, again, this is the mo ni siya ang figure nato, mo ni siya ang ellipse. So, ang ellipse, this is an ellipse that is located at the origin. So meaning atong center is at 0, 0. Na siya sa middle sa ato ang Cartesian plane. So this is our Cartesian plane, this is the y coordinate, and this is our x coordinate. Dari sa taas, this is the positive y, kani negative y, positive x, negative x. So na siya sa tunga no, sa ato ang Cartesian plane. Then our foci, no, natay duha ka focus which is called foci. So ang F1 located na siya at negative C0. So this is C0 meaning each focus is C units away from the center. Meaning this is the distance here is C, and the distance here also kani siya padulong po na niya kay C. This is your focus number 2, no, that is positive C then 0. So for any point on the ellipse, the sum of its distances from the foci is equal to 2a. No, sum daw sa iyang distances kutay na kay any point, no, any point sa imong ellipse daw, ang sum daw ana niya kani nga distance plus kani nga distance, that is always equal to 2a. Okay, for the vertices naman, so this is familiar na sa inyo hapon, no, kaysa sa parabola naman po tayo ginatawag nga vertices. So ang vertices mao ni siya, naa siya sa likod, no, na siya sa likod sa focus. So similarly sa parabola, no, kani siya ang vertex, mao ni siya ang tunga niya, then atong focus na siya dari sa unahan. So this is our focus, this is our vertex, then atong directrix kay na siya sa luyo. So similarly sa ato ang ellipse, ang atong vertex kay nasa dere, then atong focus kay nasa yang unahan. So mo ni atong vertex, then mo ni ang focus. Okay? So for our vertex 1 nato is located at negative a and 0. So mo ni siya si negative a and 0. Then vertex 2 is located at a and 0. No, so a, this is distance a, and 0, no, 0 ang iyahang y, meaning naa siya dari sa x-axis na to nakatongtong. So the vertices are points on the ellipse collinear with the center and the foci. So ginang collinear meaning kalinya daw sila sa atong center o sa atong focus, no, since our center is here, then atong focus na dari, so kalinya sila ni vertex, no, kalinya sila tanan. If y is equal to 0, then x is equal to positive or negative a, no, tanawa atong y coordinate kay equal siya ni 0, then tanawa atong x, no, x na to is negative a and positive a, so mo na yang pasabot. Then each vertex is a units away from the center, no, so mo ning nasa illustration. So vertex na to kani, so this is a distance from the center, this is also a distance from the center, kasi symmetrical naman ang ellipse. And the two segment V1, V2 is called the major axis. So ang distance daw gikan ani ni V1 padulong ni V2 kani siya, this is what we call the major axis. So unsay length niya? Since kani siya, this is equal to a, no, si a man eh, and this is also equal to a, so kung i-add nimo a plus a, so that is equal to 2a. So pasabot katuding distance nga tong gidrawing ganiha nga katong focus to point, then kani this is equal to 2a, ug kani nga distance kay equal ra din na sila, no, kani nga akong gi-kuan ganiha gi-discuss 2a. So it divides the ellipse into two congruent parts, no, mean two equal parts. So kay i-divide niya ang imong ellipse. So next is about co-vertices, no, kung sa singular co-vertex, no, or vertex, ang plural kay vertices or co-vertices. Ang co-vertices naman, that is denoted by the variable w, no, w1 and w2. So w1 is yung coordinate kay 0, negative b, then w2 or co-vertex 2 is at 0 and positive b. Okay, so the segment through the center, that is the segment through the center, and it is perpendicular to the major axis, and it is called the minor axis. So unsa ginang perpendicular, that is 90 degrees no apart nila, no? So this is 90 degrees. So if this is your major axis, then your minor axis will be kani, no, perpendicular niya ang side. So this is your minor axis. So that is from your co-vertex 2 o co-vertex 1, no, or vice versa. So this is your minor axis, this is your major axis. So dali ra man natiwan-an kay major meaning mas dako siya sa minor, no? So mas taas si major kaysa ni minor axis. So that also divides into, and the ellipse, it meets the ellipse at the co-vertices. So manakong gingon duha ka co-vertices, nag-meet ang duha ka co-vertices, so manang minor axis. So baliktad naman dere. If x is equal to 0, then y is equal to positive or negative b. Ganihan no kay ang y kay 0. So this time, ang x na po'y 0. Nga naman, nakakalay naman siya dari sa y-axis. Wala man siya coordinate sa mong x kay 0 man niyo. So ang coordinate niya is 0, positive or negative b, because ano naman, b is the distance from C going to your co-vertex, no? Ang C always ang imuhang reference point, no? B is distance dari padulong ni co-vertex. And the same with this one. This is positive nga B, then this will be the negative nga B nga distance. Okay? So the minor axis W1, W2 is 2b units long, no? Natay b, then napuntay b dari. So i-add yung duha, that is 2b. And since A is greater than B, then the major axis is longer than the minor axis, no? Always man nga mas dako si A ni B. So let's have example. So na siya paggamit kung magipang discuss. So example, give the coordinate of the foci, meaning the focus 1 and focus 2, the vertices, so V1, V2, co-vertices, so that is W1, W2 of the ellipse with the equation x squared over 25 plus y squared over 9 is equal to 1. Then you are asked to sketch the graph and include the points, no? Kung sa itong mga gipangita, imo po daw itong ibutang sa imuhang graph. So first thing to do is we are going to identify the standard equation, no? Unsa ganitong standard equation? That is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. So ingani jud ko always mag-solve. Ako sa identify kung unsa nga formula ang akong gamiton, no? So since this is the standard equation of the ellipse, then meaning kaning given naka-standard equation na day siya, no? Kay parehas sila forma na ay x squared, then mao day siya si a squared, natay y squared, mao din siya si b squared. So meaning a squared di ay is equal day siya ni 25, no? So para makuha gani ning squared, saan gani siya? Imo siyang i-take iyang square root, no? So kaganiha kay natay square root, then para makuha sa square root, gi-square nato. So kani baliktad naman. So makancel ni siya. Ang mabilin kay a is equal to square root ng 25 is 5. So natay a is equal to 5. Si b naman, so b squared, that is equal to 9. So b is equal to square root ni 9, or that is equal to 3. So natay b nga 3. How about ni c? Sige to si c, so natay formula nga c is equal to a squared, square root ni a squared minus b squared. So ingana na siya. So natay c is equal to the square root ni a squared minus b squared. Sige si a squared is 25, no? Kani natay 25 plus minus, sorry, minus b squared. So b squared is 9. So 25 minus 9. So 25 minus 9 is 16. So square root ni 16. So c is equal to 4. Okay, so nanatay A, nanatay B, nanatay C. So ito, first step is identify the standard equation sa ato ang ellipse. So mo ni siya tong standard equation. Next is to solve for the values for A, B, and C. No, value ni A natay 5, B natay 3, and C natay 4. Next is we are going to plug in na dayon sa ato ang dari, no, sa mga values. So nanatay C, di ba, namatay A, mo nang pangitaon nato si A, B, C kay mao man ang mga values atong i-butang. So unsa ganito sa tong drawing para makabalot ta sa coordinate ni C. So mag-refer ta dere. Natay A is equal to 5, B is equal to 3, C is equal to 4. So, kaning drawing, C nato dari is equal to 4, B nato is equal to 3, dayon A nato is equal to 5. So, pangitaw na natong coordinate ani nila. So, first, mag-start ta ni focus, no? Focus nato, that is duha ka buok, no? Focus 1, yang coordinate kay si C kay equal ni 4. So meaning kani day siya si 4. So kani siya nga point kay unsa may coordinate ani niya. So this is the x-axis, no? So this is negative 4, no? Kay padulong man siya dari sa left side. This is negative x maning part sa imong Cartesian plane. Then imong y, no? So wala man kay y nga distance pataas, 0 man eh. So atong y is equal to 0. Then f2, no, opposite side lang dari padulong atong c, no? C nato kay again 4. So this time positive 4, dayon 0. Then sa tong vertex 1, vertex, sige tong vertex, that is the A distance, no, sa atong center padulong sa atong vertex. Vertex 2 ug vertex nga 1. So vertex 1, so this is vertex 1, meaning distance ani niya is 5, no. So mo na natin negative 5, 0. Then vertex 2 nato is positive 5 and 0. So gigamit nato si A. Ganin, gigamit nato si C, gigamit nato si A. Then co-vertex naman, gamito nato si B. So si B naman kay padulong dari sa taas, no? So this is y is equal to 3, no? Sa ubos, y is equal to negative 3 dari sa ubos, no? Dayon naman siya sa y-axis, meaning ato ang x kay 0. So kung padulong sa ubos, negative 3, no? Then padulong sa taas, natay positive 3. So na natay coordinates, no? Natay coordinates sa tong focus, sa tong vertices, ug sa atong co-vertices. So let's check. So mo ni atong answer, no? So we have the same answer ganiha, no? Kani. So after that, no, nansira na nato ning first part, the coordinate ni foci, vertices ug co-vertices. Next is to sketch the graph. So pag sketch lang ana, so dali ra kayo, no, na naman tay coordinates ato na lang din ng drawingon. So first mag-draw kag line, horizontal ug vertical. Dayon imong i-divide into equal parts. No, positive side dari sa right ug sa taas. Then negative side kay sa left ug padulong sa ubos. So we have negative 4 nga x, 0 nga y. So negative 4 nga x, so this is negative 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 nga y, meaning mo stay ra siya diya. So this is your f1. f2 is positive 4 naman. So dari 1, 2, 3, 4, then 0. So mo mong f2. So imong panganlan kay nakabutang man dari include these points, meaning mo siyang panganlan. Vertices na pod, v1 is negative 5, 0. So negative 5 nga x. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So mo negative 5. then 0 nga x, so mo nang dira ra siya. Dayon ang isa ka vertex nato kay positive 5, so na siya diri. Next is co-vertices. Co-vertices, no, pasaka na pud siya. No, kay 0 man si x, so meaning nara dari si x. Then y kay negative 3, so paubos siya, no. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So next negative 3. So sa isa naman ka co-vertex nato kay 0 ug positive 3. So pasaka naman kay positive 3 man. So this is your co-vertex. Next is you are going to dayon complete the ellipse. So i-connect lang nato atong co-vertices o vertices. So kani. So dili nato i-connect apil si focus ha, guide ra na si focus. So mo nang i-draw na din nato si ellipse. So this will be our answer. So another example. So find the standard equation of the ellipse whose foci are f1 negative 30, f2 nato kay positive 30, such that for any point on it, the sum of its distances from the foci is 10. So unsa ganina familiar, no? Sum of the distances nila kay foci, meaning tara the sum of the distances of the foci is equal to 10, meaning di ba 2a, equate din nato si 2a ni 10. So natay sum of the distances that is equal to 2a, then since it is given as 10, so we can equate that into 10. So natay a is equal to 10 over 2, no? Divide og 2 ang both sides. So natay a is equal to 5. Dayon, standard equation man ang atong pangitaon, no? So unsa gito standard equation sa ellipse, that is x squared over a squared, no, plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. So unsa may mga unknown dere? Ang unknown kay si a squared ug si b squared. So since nalamatay 2a is equal to 10, then we divide both the equation by 2, no, mabilin kay a. So natay 10 divided by 2, that is 5. So a is equal to 5. So atong pangitaw na lang kay si b. Unsa man na si b? So mangita ta dari sa ato ang given. So namatay given nga focus, which is negative 3 and positive 3. Then unsa gitong focus? Focus is unsa gini nang iyang coordinate dira, that is the distance from the center going to ana nga unit, no? So naaman tay negative 3 ug positive 3. So na daw dari si negative positive 3. So napo dari si negative 3, no? Di ba naman siya diya? So meaning atong c, di ba, that is the distance from our focus to our center, mao man na si c. Meaning atong c kay 1, 2, 3, no? So natay c that is equal to 3. And remember the formula, we have c is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared, or that is c squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. Then you transfer b squared sa pikas, then kani transfer po siya diri sa pikas. So natay b squared is equal to a squared minus c squared. So kani siya, atong ini siya square, c squared is equal to 9. So again, kani pod a squared, that is equal to 25. So natay 25 minus 9. So natay b squared equal to 16. So natay b squared, natay a squared. Then mo na din nato na plug in dere. So na natay x squared is equal to a squared nato kay 25 plus y squared nato, then over b squared. B squared is 16. So natay 16 is equal to 1. Then this will be our standard equation. Dali ra na. Okay. So the section 2 of this module will be discussed on the part 2 video discussion.